Hey everybody, Chris here, Griffin and Partners. Thanks for joining us. We brought on my good friend Art Crosby, Pillar to Post.
Hello, everybody.
I've been working with Art for, would you say, 6 years now?
About 6 years, ever since the beginning.
6 years. This guy did my very first home inspection. So Art has been in this business. He does about, Art, give me the number of home inspections a year.
About 500 to 600 home inspections a year.
So this guy's cranking these inspections out. So anyway, we wanted to make a video about what we're talking about with these inspections. So what is the reason for getting one? What are the trends that we're seeing? What you need to look for in certain properties? And also, we're going to talk about some really interesting articles with people that have already purchased and maybe some of the regrets that might be related to a home inspection. So, Art, why is it important to get an inspection on a property that you buy?
Well, Chris, I think it's the most important reason to get the home inspections. It is probably the largest purchase that you'll make buying a home, and having someone come in, third party, unbiased opinion of the ins and outs of the house to give you a comfort level moving forward is priceless.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And, you know, Art, I know a lot of people might have some questions. They might be looking at, okay, I got to get an inspection on a house. But
Right.
what are some of these more specialty inspections that might be important in certain areas that some people might not even know they need to check?
Right.
What do those look like?
Well, depending on where your home is located, you may want to get a septic and well inspection. Definitely, if your home is on a septic and a well, get those two systems evaluated, because most home inspections do not include an evaluation of the septic and the well system. So that's important to know. If your home is in an area that's high in radon, this is an easy check. You can do a Google search on the anticipated radon levels in the area. I would add radon. If you're going to be in an area that was recently renovated and it's an older home, maybe you do a lead inspection, right?
Mm-hmm.
So those are some of the auxiliary inspections that you can add on top of your home inspection to make sure that you're covering all your bases.
Sure. And let me ask you, for our viewers that don't know, what is radon? Or what is that?
Well, radon is a radioactive gas that's naturally produced. Every home has what I call a radon potential. Since it comes from the ground, we throw a home on top of it, and then we, here in Michigan, we lock our houses up for the wintertime for 6 months. So the radon levels tends to elevate a little bit. We don't have the fresh air breaking it down like it is just outside. So it is a class 1 carcinogenic, meaning long term it can produce lung cancer. So it is important that if you think your home may have high radon levels in the area, just to get it tested. It's a super easy correction, in most cases under $1,000 to fix radon. I've often said I'd rather have a radon issue in my home than, say, mold in the attic.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. Okay, and let me ask you, so, you know, when we're doing these home inspections, because, you know, when I'm actively out there talking to buyers, sellers, investors,
All the time.
there seems to be yes, all the time. There seems to be a disconnect with what an inspection's really for. I've literally had people that say, all right, here's my home inspection for 50 items, take care of all of it on the listing side. So what is an inspection really for? Is it for those major items? Is it, you know, a maintenance list that the seller can take? What does that look like?
So for me, all of my clients get a briefing where I give them the right expectation for their home inspection. For me, I'm going to focus on maintenance, lack of maintenance, safety, non-working mechanicals, and anything the homeowner may have done to the home that's not right. I'm not there for a code inspection. Most inspectors don't dabble in code. We can talk about that later. So the inspection is for those items that the buyer maybe was not able to see for themselves, or maybe they notice those items, but they don't understand how those items and those conditions need to be taken care of so that they don't continue to decay or cause problems for the home. So I often give a briefing as well, it's like to my new first-time home buyers, that I would expect a first-time home buyer to take on about 70% of the items I find in the house, since my inspection protocol is a maintenance-driven list, meaning if the gutters are sagging or if the gutters have too many leaves in them, those are maintenance items.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't keep the gutters clean, it could cause secondary water issues. So you start with maintenance and you define all the maintenance items on the home: chipped and peeling paint, extending downspouts, improving grade. All those things, even a first-time home buyer should be comfortable taking care of. But if you don't do those items, they then manifest or potentially could manifest themselves into indoor conditions and problems.
Got it. Okay. Okay. And, I did want to say too, we've noticed, and this has been an issue it's not really an issue, it's human nature, right? When you're buying a house, you're excited. You're ready to,
Super excited. I'm excited for you.
Right. Exactly. I think when I bought my house, I was like, let's do a 24-hour home inspection.
Yeah.
Let's do whatever we got to do to make it work, right? But that's not always the right route. You got to be emotionally unattached when buying a house, right? It's really a financial and a business decision. So when you get emotionally attached, sometimes people will waive inspections. They will overlook certain things, which is never a good idea, which is going to bring me to my next point. So this is from CNBC. So this article was published, August 23rd, and it was 72% of recent home buyers have regrets about their purchases as the market cools. These steps can help you avoid disappointment. So 72%. So I would make a case, a portion of that, because I saw this a lot on my listings, especially like in, older homes built in the early 1900s, people waiving inspections left and right during the craziness that we've seen the past couple of years. So, Art, speak to me on that. What is your take on that article?
Well, if the article is accurate, it says that a large percentage of new home buyers have buyer's remorse or regret. It's probably could be correlated to those individuals that maybe waived the inspection, or they had someone who wasn't trained as an inspector to do the inspection for them. I get calls, I get hired, and then someone will call me back and says, it's not a problem. They have a friend who's going to do it. Friend is a carpenter. Great skill set to have, but as an inspector, I am a third-party, unbiased evaluator of the home, and if you don't look at 500-600 houses a year and see the same conditions over and over again, sometimes you really don't understand how that condition could manifest into other problems, or how it's really just something that can be taken care of on a lower end. So waiving those inspections probably would yield a lot of its regret.
Sure.
I wouldn't waive one.
No, I agree. I wouldn't either. And Art, let me talk to you too. Building on that point, what should a consumer do when they're looking for a home inspector? I mean, what is something that they should be asking their inspectors when they're interviewing them?
Well, just call me.
They should do it. Just call you.
Yeah,
just call you.
No. So if you were going to purchase a home and you had a couple of recommendations, I would go to that professional's webpage. If you're a professional in this business, you should have a functioning webpage. Hopefully that inspector, he or she, has online reviews. I would read those reviews. I would call and interview the inspector. Sometimes you only have 5 minutes to make a call. Get that. But take the time, do the due diligence, and come up with maybe 3 questions that you're going to make 2 to 3 calls to the inspector and ask them the same question. So you're trying to compare apples to apples. Try not to make your decision based on price, because as an inspector, I bring value to your largest purchase. So if I'm $30 more than someone else, sometimes I won't get the job, but that's okay. Because I understand price does play a huge role when you purchase a home. But at the end of the day, find a comfort level that makes you feel like the money was well spent. So interview the inspectors, ask them those hard questions like how's your after purchase customer service? If I have any problems, can I call you? How many times have you had an insurance claim done on your insurance policy? Here's one. Do you have E&O insurance? Those are questions that I get asked all the time. And being a franchise owner of Pillar to Post, we have a very transparent website. You can go on and see the 5-star reviews, the 1-star review. I think there's only one of those out there, but I mean, you can't make everybody happy. We try. We try. But do your research on your inspectors. Take the advice from your agent, because they've worked with tons of inspectors. But at the end of the day, do your due diligence, because it's your house.
Excellent. And Art, let me ask you too, for our viewers out there, a lot of clients will come to me and they'll say, Chris, the house is only 2 years old. Do I really need to get a home inspection?
Right.
Or even on another side note, it's brand new.
Brand new.
What is should they be getting one in that instance?
So here's my take on a new built home and a home that's pre-existing. That pre-existing home has probably already settled, and the items have already going to show themselves. But in my opinion, a new built home, you've had 5 or 6 different companies recently go into the home. And I find things that maybe aren't structural in nature,
Sure.
but they're missing insulation. Half the house wasn't painted. Some of the shingles have blown off. They've just some. If you're spending significant money on a new build, you want everything as dress as possible.
Sure.
And when I go in and do a new build, I know that the conditions I find are going to be smaller in nature. The electrical panel should be good. The furnace should be good. Those are the big ticket items should be good. So I kind of find more cosmetics. But if you're spending $200,000 on a new build home or even lower, you want it as perfect as possible.
Sure. Sure. Makes sense. Makes sense. Awesome. Awesome. Well, those are the questions I had for you today. I mean, again, everybody, I think an inspection is a super important thing to do. I would never waive one. So if you're out there looking for a house, don't waive one. I don't care how much you love the house.
Yeah.
Don't waive an inspection ever. And that'll really keep you prepared on what you're buying. So that's super important. And then, of course, if anybody has any questions, please feel free to give Art a call. Art, what's your phone number for him?
I can be reached at 586-648-6778. Chris, can I just add one thing? Well,
Yep.
Outside of working with an inspector, I think one of the most pivotal items or things that you can do to purchase your home is to work with a qualified real estate professional. Hire a realtor. They know the market, they know the homes, they will assist you in navigating a very tedious process in some instances that will make it a lot smoother.
Sure.
So,
excellent. All right, everybody. Well, thanks so much. I hope everyone has a great rest of their week. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you next week. Have a great one.
Have a good one. Thank you.